Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be taking a look at this album here. It is by Elvis Costello and the Attractions, and it is their album Trust. So in this video I'll just be doing the usual thing, giving a bit of background information about the album, then showing you my vinyl copy of it here, and then looking at each of the album songs in detail. So as I said, this was Elvis Costello's 5th album, released on the 23rd of January in 1981. Costello described this period of his life as being a bit of a blur, and this as his most drugged up album, as he was heavily drinking at this point, and also in terms of his personal life, his first marriage was on the rocks. Early sessions for the album took place at DJM Studios. However, these proved to be unsuccessful, so they moved back to Eden Studios, where Costello's last few albums had been recorded. Returning on production duties was Nick Lowe. Now he had produced Costello's last 4 albums, and notably this would be the last album of Costello's Nick Lowe would produce until I think 1987's Blood and Chocolate. Now around this time also Costello generally felt quite disenfranchised with the pop mainstream of the time. However, saying that though, a lot of his contemporaries such as The Police, The Pretenders, XTC and Squeeze provided a lot of musical inspiration for this album. Now in terms of commercial success, this album kind of passed most people by. It was Costello's other release from 1981 which got a lot more attention, The Country Covers album Almost Blue. Despite that though, this album still charted at number 28 in America and number 9 in the UK. And it did get a bit of critical acclaim. For example, Village Voice, a music weekly magazine of the time, ranked it at number 3 for their albums of the year, 1981. And generally, it's considered one of Costello's more underrated albums. Okay, so I'll now show you my vinyl copy of it here. This is just a original UK copy. I must say, I do quite like the cover of it. Kind of shows a more sort of softer, more sort of innocent side of Costello. It's sort of yeah, it's quite a nice sort of photo. It looks a bit sort of Roy Orbison, or someone from the 50s there. The back of it kind of continues that sort of style there, very sort of sophisticated kind of look to it there, credits at the bottom, kind of a film poster, then a track listing there. And then the inner sleeve to this, again, sort of carries on that sort of theme, kind of a big band photo, and then a picture of him there. Notably, there's no lyrical insert to this one here. I don't think that any of Costello's albums, up to this point, actually came with the lyrics printed, which is a bit of a shame because probably the lyrics are one of the standout components of Costello's music. But there's the record. I believe this is on his own Imp Records label here. I think he's moved on from I think it was Radar Records something or something what his last few albums a B-Rod. So yeah, that is the vinyl record looked at. So anyway, I will now go over each of the album songs. So there's 14 tracks in total. Costello he did like to pack them in on his albums. So yeah, I will score each track out of 10 and then use those scores to give us a overall percentage marking for the album. Okay, so the record kicks off with the song Clubland, which is a pretty good song, I have to say. It's never been an absolute favourite of mine, though. The chorus to it, though, is quite strong and quite catchy. However, the song really just doesn't wow me, lyrically, I don't think it's, one of, Costello's, best works. Apparently, the song itself, musically, was inspired, by The Police, and, I can kind of hear it, in, Pete Thomas's drumming, however, apart from that, I don't think it sounds very much like The Police at all. Now, this was the lead single from the album, and it did fare quite disappointingly, only reached number 60 on the UK charts, and the charts, again, broke a run, off I think it was something 10 or something consecutive top 40 hits for Costello. So yeah, Clubland, a pretty good song there to kick off the album. We'll give that one a 8 out of 10. Next up is called Lover's Walk, and this song has a very sort of unique sort of drum heavy sound to it, I think it's on sort of a Bo Diddley beat, but it's sort of it's turned up, it's turned up, and it's all the drums really sort of overpower this song in a lot of ways. But I think it is a good sound. It's quite sort of post-punky kind of thing. I think in some ways. Lyrically though, I wouldn't say it's sort of top tier Costello once again. But it is certainly very interesting musically. Like, and again, it's a very short song, this. Like, it's about 2 minutes long, if that. So yeah, like Lover's Walk would get a 7 out of 10. Next one up, though, is the first, for me, real classic on the album, and it's called You'll Never Be a Man. And I just absolutely love this song, like, from, like, the lyrics on it, like, which, like, the opening line on it is, like, you need protection from the physical art of conversation. That's just, like, a great couplet, like, to kick off, like, the song, like, whoever, like, the way the song builds, like, and develops, like, so, like, the melody, it just seems to sort of flow, like, really freely, like, out of, like, the song. Again, it's played incredibly well. The musicianship on this song is just stunning. Like, I would say, like, what's it called again, like, Bruce Thomas's, like, bass part, like, is, like, top-notch, like, really great stuff there. So yeah, like, You'll Never Be a Man would get a 10 out of 10. I think that song, yeah, it's perfect for me.
Pretty words don't mean much anymore.
Next up is called Pretty Words, and I would also give this one a 10 out of 10. I, again, really rate this song. I really like the sort of, like, the kind of half-hearted style, like, he sort of, like, sings this song in. I think it's sort of, like, it fits the music, like, fits, like, sort of, like, the lyrics, like, off, like, the song as well. However, the track develops and builds, like, so, like, the distinct sections, like, the verse, the chorus, like, and, like, sort of, like, the after-chorus bit. Like, it, they're all very distinctive, all very catchy, and, like, it all just works together so well. Once again, Nicola's production is, like, top-notch on this song, so yeah, Pretty Words would get a 10 out of 10 from me. Next up is called Strict Time, and this isn't one of my favourites on the album. Like, I would say, like, it's maybe like a slight sort of, like, filler song for me. It starts off quite good though. I quite like the sort of, like, the funky guitar riff, like what sort of, like, kicks, like, the song off. Pete Thomas plays, like, some, like, good drums, like, on, like, the tracks. Again, he's sort of, like, he's going, like, all over, like, the tom-toms and that, like, kind of showing, like, what a sort of, like, versatile player, like, he was. However, I just think it's a bit forgettable, this song, overall, and, like, the chorus itself, like, kind of, like, the Strict Time bit is, like, quite weak. It's not quite as melodic as some of, like, the other tracks, like, on the album. So, yeah, I would give that one a 7 out of 10 there for Strict Time. Next track up is called Luxembourg, and this is a kind of, like, old school, like, rocker, this sort of, yeah, like, kind of has a sort of, like, a 50s sound to it, like, with, like, Costello's, like, sort of, like, echoey vocal. Again, it's probably not a favourite of mine, like, on the album. Like, it's not sort of, like, it's not, like, top tier Costello, this song here. Like, certainly, like, when, like, compared, like, to, like, other songs, like, on this album. Like, but certainly, like, if, like, this was on, like, one of, like, his lesser albums, like, maybe, like, Punch the Clock, or, like, Goodbye Cruel World, this would be, like, an absolute standout highlight track. So, yeah, like, kind of, like, in comparison, like, I'd say that this song, like, would get, like, an 8 out of 10. Like, again, like, it's a good track, this one.
Didn't get to watch your step.
And then closing off side one, we get a track called Watch Your Step, which for me, this song really reminds me of his last album, Get Happy. Like, it, like, in some ways, like, repeats the sounds, like, off that album. Like, so, like, the sound of, like, songs like Opportunity and, like, Secondary Modern. Like, it's kind of has that sort of, like, that very like, smooth, like, soulful, like, sound to it. But that is a good sound though. Like, it certainly suits Costello really well. I like Steve Naive's like, organ playing, like, on the track, as well as, like, Bruce Thomas's, like, bass. Like, it kind of just, like, forms, like, the basis, like, off, like, the song, like, really well. Again, Costello sings the track nice and softly. Like, although this song, like, is, like, again, quite a short song. Like, I think it's probably shorter, like, than 3 minutes, like, I would say. He does manage to pack a lot into the lyrics of the track. So yeah, that one, like, on balance, like, I would say that would deserve, like, a 10 out of 10 for, like, Watch Your Step. Now, side 2 opens up with what could possibly be my favourite song on the album, and it is New Lace Sleeves. And yeah, just everything about this song is so great. I really like the sort of, like, the tense, like, lyrics, like, off, like, the song, like, about, like, sort of, like, a failing, like, relationship, like, to, like, sort of, like, Pete Thomas's, like, drum pattern, like, throughout the song, like, Bruce Thomas's bass. Everything just comes together so well, like, on, like, this really wonderful song. And, like, again, it certainly shows Costello's developing, like, musical sophistication without him being, like, sort of, like, pretentious, like you would, like, maybe get, like, on, like, later albums, like this one here. like it is just a really, really, really great song. Like, and like, yeah, like I think it's one which like certainly like a lot of fans rate very highly, and like one which Costello like himself like said is probably like the Attractions like best performance like on record. And like, yeah, like I think it is definitely up there like with like his all-time best songs.
So I whisper and I scream, but don't get me wrong.
The next track up is called From a Whisper to a Scream, and this track is a collaboration with Glenn Tilbrook from Squeeze, and I must say it is absolutely great to hear like probably like two of like my favourites like from this era like on like the same song, and like they just really complement each other really well, like, and they sort of like complement like and contrast each other, like I think like in terms of like vocal styles, like sort of like Tilbrook's like sort of like very sort of like smooth like and like sort of like pleasant voice, like, and like then like set against like Costello's like quite sort of like angry like sort of like harsher voice. Again, I think the song itself is really catchy. It's just a great like rocking song, this one here. Like I think it was issued like as a single this like in like some territories like where like it didn't really do like anything, like, which is a bit like of a shame, because I think it is like a like, yeah, like a great duet and like, yeah, like a really great sort of like collaboration like between like two of my favourites. So yeah, From a Whisper to a Scream would also get a 10 out of 10 from me.
All I want is one night of glory.
Next track up is called A Different Finger, and this is a kind of again change of direction like on the album. It's a more sort of like soft like little like country style song, perhaps a sort of like preview like of like his next album, Almost Blue. It's got a really strong melody like on like this song here, like with like lyrics like about like so like a one night stand, like he sort of sings like all I want is one night of glory, I don't even know your second name. And yeah, it's just a nice song, this one, like it's nice and soft, like I love like the guitar solo on it. I'm not sure like he plays that like if it's like Costello himself, like, but it's like yeah really fantastic. Plus it's got a really good sort of genius like key change like in like the middle like of the song. It just keeps it interesting, like, so yeah, Different Finger would also get a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't say anything bad about that one. And then we get another sort of like kind of like upbeat like sort of like rocking track like on the album, which is called like White Knuckles. And yeah, like this one here, like, is just a great song in terms of like melody, in terms of structure, very sort of like distinct, like sort of like verse and chorus. Apparently this one, like I've read, was inspired by like XTC songs, and like definitely like it sort of like it really demonstrates like sort of like that pop craftsmanship, like which like so like which some like of like Andy Partridge's like best moments like had, and like definitely like also shows like a maturing like in like Costello's like songwriting. Like this one here, like he's now sort of like taking like the blame like and like responsibility like for like his like sort of like failings like in like relationships and that. Like, so yeah, like White Knuckles, wonderful song there, would also get a 10 out of 10.
Shot with his own gun. Now that is.
Now, next track up is probably the most radical song on the album. It is Shot with His Own Gun, and this is a kind of like piano ballad, this one here, and I would say it's probably like the biggest sign point towards his next album, Imperial Bedroom, like his next album, like all of like original material like that is, because it's got a very sort of like a show tunesy like sort of style to this one here. I must say it's not a style which I'm a massive fan of, and like I would say like kind of like this sort of style of song like is something like which like he would go and do like sort of like a lot like during like the latter half like of like his career. And like yeah, like it's just not a style which I'm a huge massive fan of, but like on this album it kind of like fits in well, like in terms like of like this album being like so like very like eccentric like musically, like, so like it definitely fits, but for me isn't one of the standout moments, and I would give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, now coming after that, we really need like an upbeat track, and that is just what we get like in the form of Fish and Chip Paper, which yeah, it's just a really upbeat song, this one here, and I think it's really underrated track, because I've read like a lot of people like say like this one's like one of like, the weaker moments like on the album, but I again really like it. I've read on this track that he was inspired by Squeeze, like of course like who like he was producing like actually like around this time, because it's a sort of very playful song, this one here, like again like sort of like very sort of like like carefully like arranged this one here, like with great vocal harmonies like on it, like a really like sort of like catchy, like well written chorus. And again, lyrically, like it's got like quite a good like metaphor to it, like about like how like sort of like news like sort of like passes quickly, like and like is like soon like disregarded, like things like yesterday's news is tomorrow fish and chips paper. And like yeah, like it's just a fun song, this one. Like I quite like the sort of I quite like the sort of the extended like instrumental break like on it, like with a really like sort of like fun guitar solo, as well as like a sort of like some like keyboard like twiddling about like from like Steve Naive. So yeah, really good song there. Would also get a 10 out of 10 from me.
It's easier to say I love you than your sins.
Okay, and then the final track on the album is Big Sister's Clothes, which this one has a kind of feeling like off a kind of B-side, that sort of like feeling to it. Like it reminds me like of like the song like Hoover Factory, like or like sort of like Ghost Train, like one like those like sort of songs. But I do rather like this one here. Now, uniquely, this is the only track on the album not produced by Nick Lowe, so it has a kind of very different sound like from the rest of the album. Like it's not quite as clear, like or like as polished. It's a bit more kind of like murky, like sort of sound to it. Like, but like I do quite like the track though. Like I quite like the lyrics like of the song. It's sort of like it like has a sense of like conclusion to it, like with like the sort of like the line like it's easier to say I love you than yours sincerely, I suppose. And I just think it rounds off the album like rather well, this one here. So yeah, Big Sister's Clothes would get an 8 out of 10. Okay, so overall, this album would score 89%. So I would say this is definitely up there for me, like with Costello's all-time best. And like I would say, like probably like since like I've like been like preparing for this review, like this has like probably like jumped up like a few places in terms like of like my like albums ranking like of this. I'd say it's probably better than My Aim Is True now, and probably better like than Get Happy. Like I'd say like it's a more like sort of like it's a more sort of like pleasing, like a more sort of like adventurous album like than that one, I'd say. I think it really works like as a transition album like in like his discography, because he's still got a lot of like the sort of like the punk edge like and like away like with like the melodies like on songs like say such as like Pretty Words and like Luxembourg, Watch Your Step, like White Knuckles, like these sort of like he's still got that sort of like the edgy like nature to him. Like however, like he's becoming like a lot more musically advanced like and like adventurous, like looking to different styles, like stuff like Different Finger, like with like it's sort of like its country feeling to it, like shot with his own gun, this sort of like this more like dramatic like sort of like light sort of sound. And like yeah, like I think this just balances the sort of like the aggression like off like his like early albums like to like the sophistication like off like later works. Now like it was like Rolling Stone magazine what said that like the reason this album like goes like unnoticed like is because it's quite hard like to sort of like categorize like on like his other albums, like with like sort of like it's like Armed Forces like having a kind of like political edge to it. Get Happy like is like a sort of like a 60s like R&B homage, like and like Almost Blue like focuses like on country. Like all those albums like have a kind of like a set mood to them, like a set sort of focus. This one sort of doesn't, but I think that that's its strength. Like it doesn't get bogged down like in like a single style like or sound. Like it's able to be like very like so like is able to be like very like widespread like in terms like of like its musical scope. And I'd say yeah, it's just like underrated like in like his discography, because like it was probably like it was his first sort of I'd say flop album really. Like it didn't yield like any like hit singles like on it, like and like kind of like new romantic music like synth pop like a kind of taken over like, and like so like artists like Costello like we're seeing like as old hat like a little bit. But I'd say this is kind of a great mix like of like what makes like Costello, great songwriting, catchy melodies, intricate musicianship, like and great lyrics. So yeah, for me, one of his best albums here. So yeah, like I'd be interested to know what you think of this album down below in the comments, and I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.